Where do we come from? It's a very beautiful topic. So when it came across to me as my TED Talk topic, where do we come from? Quite enchanted by the whole thought that I would be able to express myself, my thought process, my mindset, and the kind of vision I had for work I have been doing now, and how I got into here, how destiny brought me here. So life is comprises of many things: mindset, financial, social, physical, choices, values, spiritual, emotional, environmental, cultural, ancestral. There are a lot of essence, and the point which we have to think about is where do we come from? As a layman, if somebody would ask me, the friend would ask me, Shweta, which TED topic you're talking about? And suddenly I said, where do we come? Where do you come from? He said, I'm from Mumbai. So the first thought which comes to our mind is that I've come from home, or I've come from some other place of like I've come from my home, canteen or anywhere. But this is not what we have come here to discuss. We've come here to discuss a very deep thought, a very great perspective. And there's a lot of retrospection which goes into it. Hi, I'm Shweta Pathak, founder Akarshan Gems and Jewelry, Akarshan Jewels. And it has been a journey as an entrepreneur from past 15 years. As being said, it is a paradigm shift from my IT career to jewelry. Two different worlds, two different ways of life, two different ways of thinking, two different ways of dealing with the world. Because as I said, today is 28th April, my birthday. So yes, today for the world, my journey started. But I would say no, my journey started 9 months before I was born, when I got into my mother's womb. Because we have learned that a child learns so many things when a child is in the womb of the mother. As per many spiritual leaders, there are a lot of other theories which says that we choose our womb and what. But if I say, as a very normal human being, I didn't know which caste, creed, color I'm getting born to. But after I'm born, everything, whatever I've done or we do, is our own choice. Sometimes we say, no, we have been told. But who gave the power to the other person to get told? We give the power. So it is our own choice again. So in life, whatever has happened or whatever happened, somewhere or other, we have to own it. And that's where we are able to make the decision in our own hand. The power comes in our hand back. So born to a very beautiful mother, very capable, first one to establish herself in a way that we went to the best of the schools, we got best of the life, we which college we put our hand on, whatever courses we want to do, we never had to think twice. My mother gave us one of the finest life we could have among the all the family members or the cousins, everyone. So everybody would look up to my mother. Obviously, born to such a talented, capable mother, I knew knowledge is the power. I became that child who had quest for knowledge. I became somebody who wanted to, like an above average student, but I always worked hard because I was not, I never had the fear of failure, but I always had the fear of knowing more, doing more. Creative, it has something into me. What next? I always thought about the next level, where I'm going next. So it turned out I was very good in mathematics, but my mother wanted me to be a doctor because obviously she had a great career and she wanted some successor for herself. I had a different mindset because when I used to help my mother as a school going child, I would go to a clinic, I would help her making medicines and all those parcels and everything. I said, Mama, they are coming for you, not for me. Even if I would become a doctor, I would not be known for my capabilities or my knowledge. I would be known for you as your compounder. I'll be very honest. I said these words to my mother. Though now when I think, when I'm grown up, I said I would have had a platform which I could have grown to another level. But as a child, I wanted my own identity. I wanted my own place. So I choose my own career. So I took my bio because my mother wanted. I did both maths and biology. Destiny has its way. I got into engineering. I missed my medical by 1.5%. Then what? After engineering, family was all about marriage. Because our time, it has to be like, get married early and get settled. That was the definition for the girl. I was the first engineer for my family, and I was never a very good cook or very good household work. I was always into my studies, a nerd who was always, trying to get and score more. So my cousin would go to my father and say, she doesn't know how to cook. But my father says, she's my first engineer. She's the first engineer of our family. She was always very proud of me, whatever I am. And he had been my great support. Fine, engineering done. Marriage thing came. I ran for the masters. So I got into symbiosis. I did my masters. I got into IBM. So again, the first one to get into the corporate job. Got married because obviously that had to be there. Married my own classmate with my classmate, and then had my daughter. After that, because coming from a conservative setup, a protective setup, working with a child was a big question because nobody had done in my family before me. So what to be done? I was not willing to put my child in a good daycare because they were not very good that time. I'm talking about 2007. Now she's 19 years. So it was way back then. So I decided to take a halt for my career. I gave her the kind of raising I could. I sent her to the preschool, and then I did my executive MBA from IIFT Delhi, and I had my IT setup. Then again I went back to job, started with TechPine, then to strategy. No, I was in the business development group. My husband had been traveling through and through. Somewhere my father was still not happy with that. So if somebody would say, did I choose entrepreneurship? I would say no. I just wanted to have a career. Because I was very happy working. I'm a person who wants to have some purpose to the life because I've always been curious to know, learn, evolve. So when my father said quit your job because obviously my daughter was missing on the no kind of care I can give being at home, I realized he's right. But I said, then what I'm going to do for me? So my father into spiritual space had a lot of gemstones, color diamonds. And when I got into it, I realized that they are spiritual people. I consider myself as a normal human being who believe in spirituality, but I still don't know whether what they are because Ram Bhagwan is Ram Bhagwan, Love Kush is Love Kush. So we all come for our own destiny and own purpose. But these gemstones did attracted me. Then I did a lot of studies around these gemstones. I educated myself to gemology. I did diamond grading. And then I saw a different aspect of these gems. High jewelry. I saw Tiffany. I saw Harry Winston. I saw Bulgari. I saw Van Cleef Arpels. And I wondered because since I belong to one good family, we have been going to the local jewelers, buying a lot of jewelry, gold jewelry, diamond jewelry. I said that yes, I come from privileges, but not as much privileges as been given to many of the billionaires and millionaires, but from a good, decent family who has been entitled as a because I've no, but again, we all have our own journey. And since I had love marriage, so I married my own classmates. So it wasn't that I was very much financially supported. And I always believe if it is your dream, it is you who has to work on it. It has to be seeded by you, it has to be planted by you, it has to be nurtured by you. Because the moment you take support, you're not doing business. You're doing a hobby. So I kept it very clear with my business idea that this is my business and it has to run on its own, the way I would grow it and evolve it over the time. Then come in the journey, after doing gemology and diamond grading, what next? My parents thought that I'll start working. I'll just put up a small shop or my exhibition. I'll start working. But my quest didn't stop there because I wanted to understand the complete supply chain. So I started going places. So after my GIA lab, I got a book in my train in which I got to know about GIA labs as well as I got to know about the Surat Mandi. So I did my course of diamond grading from GIA. After that, I went to Surat Mandi to see how diamonds get sold in a mandi. And to my surprise, I saw many people sitting over there. As a table was being set, I was being given a loop to have a look at the diamond, and they test you the way you hold the loop. That are you capable of buying the diamond or not? Are you really a serious buyer, or are you really just come here to experiment and see? Every industry has its own do's, don'ts, thicks and thins. Every possible reasons to be there and not to be there. So when I went to there, I saw my first pudiya and I saw my diamond and I said I want VSGH quality and I just paid some 1 carat around diamonds. And I went back to my gemology teacher to show her this is what I procured. And she said, Shweta, this is exact procurement. And I was very happy. Then I went to a few of the diamond vendors and I saw the diamonds under the ghodi. And then Shweta, you have the eye for it. And that's when I got to know that maybe this was my destiny call. And that's why I'm here. Because when I'm doing maths bio, I'm doing an engineering, I'm doing coding at Java J2, and suddenly I'm in a different field altogether. And I'm acing it. I scored very well in my classes everywhere. What next? So I said, okay, fine. I did my first exhibition in Pune. I picked up few strings from my father's collection. I did my setup in my Gehna La Meridian. I thought I had a humble start. But now when I think back, I said, no, I'm a little entitled. So the exhibition went really well. And I earned such money that I would have a month's salary into it in 2 days. I said, oh, this is good. I didn't realize that I have sourced it from my father. I've not bought it. So I didn't calculate the cost. But that's how, because I was never from a business family. I was never coming from a background where I knew how to operate or run a business or how to be an entrepreneur. There was no roadmap to me. There was no blueprint. There was nothing being known. I was just exploring on the way, on the go. So what next? Then certain situations happened. I had to move back to my hometown, Bhopal. Now, Bhopal, high jewelry sounds very different because it's a very small town with different mindset. But I had my daughter who was 3 or 4 years that time, and this was the only choice I had, and I had to move back. People said, Shweta, finished. I also thought, yeah, it's got very difficult. I've opted for something where I was comfortable doing it in Pune. Bombay being near, I had karigars, I had people around to work with, I had good exhibit, I had knowledgeable people who understand what I'm working on. Shifting to Bhopal was a different experimentation altogether. It was a different, and I said, what next? A friend of mine called me up. He said, Shweta, I have a Dadaji's house, very old house, little disputed, not being used for a very long time, and the garage is there. So yes, I'm also a garage startup. So I said, okay, fine. I went there, I sat in that place. I found the vibes coming very nice to me. Though the garden was not there, the place was literally little, no, not so in place. I made that place very beautiful. And I, from 2014 till 2019, around 5 to 6 years, I was operating out of that garage. I won my first award in that garage. I got all my nominations, all my, like everything was happening around to me around that garage because it was the thought process I had. I didn't think any less of me. I didn't think I'm not coming from some million investment, or I'm coming from, like, I had limited collection. I was creating each piece very thoughtfully, very craftfully, very detail oriented. For me, that mattered. And the moment I put any of my pieces for the awards, they were getting recognized. I first got into top 7 jewelry designers. I was among Farah Ali Khan, Ghana Singh, like Meena Wala, all top names in the industry. Second year, I thought, Shweta, I don't want to put myself as a designer because I always thought I want to do something as a platform, as a legacy, something. As a designer, I felt things get limited till I'm existing, till I'm alive. But if I create a brand, it would go beyond me. Something I can pass on, with something I can have even I'm long gone. So that was a kind of concept of immortality I had in my mind. So I thought of why not set up the brand. So next year I participated as a brand among all the big names in India. It was like an ant among the mammoths. I got nominated again. And since I had this very clear in my mind that my forte is gems and fancy color diamond, I worked around these. Though I knew the knowledge is limited, I knew customers are limited, but I kept my model very lean because when you happen to be a reader, you read a lot. And this book came in front of me, the lean model. And I had been very good in during my IT days also. I had done Six Sigma, I had done Lean Six Sigma, and I was a complete performer through and through, even in my IT career. I was key talent in IBM. So somewhere I felt if I keep the model lean, I'll be able to sustain my idea, because the moment you think otherwise, dilution gets easy. And if you want to see why high jewelry has not been a thing of India, though we have 99% diamond being cut and polished in India, we have the gem hub in the Jaipur, we have the best of the karigars of the craftsmanship from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we have different art of jewelry. Still, Indian jewelry was never talked about as a luxury. It was always talked about as a commodity. But the moment you step out of the Western world, and see, because I was the first to do anything, I was the first to travel abroad as well from my family. So I went to London, I went to Hong Kong, I went to Bangkok, I went to Chantaburi, I went to different places to explore. And I saw their jewelry means gemstone. They adore gemstones like it is not just for spiritual healing or astrological purpose, it is a piece of adornment, a piece of rarity, something which Mother Earth has gifted us to love, to have, to collect, to enjoy, and to something to relish on. And that's how these gemstones talk to me. When I sit with my gemstones, my friends say, "You are happiest." And I realized this ki yes, I was okay quitting my job the moment my father said, "Quit your job," and I left my job. My father said, "No, you have to give time to your daughter." I left my Tech Mahindra job. I gave my resignation like this. My boss thought I'll come back. So he also approved of it. 1 month later, he called me up. Shweta, are you coming back? I said, I'm not coming back. But jewelry, gemstone jewelry, high jewelry, 15 years, taking Akarshan to different platforms, winning awards among the big names, to doing Bangalore Fashion Week, because I said I have to create awareness on my brand. And everything, whatever I'm doing, I'm still bootstrapped. So everything I'm running on my own pocket, with my own efforts, with my own ROI. So it is a tough job, very tough job. It is not easy because It takes a lot of great hard work and a lot of no, that just to get going, because everyone wants to see you fail. As a woman, nobody is happy when you're a success. Nobody means nobody. And then, but you have to see, would I be okay with that? I said, no, I have to be a success for me. I know there are challenges. I know people are trying to create fear factors. I know people would try to do a lot of things around, but it can happen to even a common ear. Okay? Because being women, we are always has those things to deal with, no matter what we are doing. It's not just like because I'm success, so I have to deal with. Even a common, even a normal woman walking has to deal with all the societal pressure. I said this should not be the reason I should quit or give up to. So I still fought back, and I'm still doing what best I can do for Akarshan, because I've envisioned Akarshan as a luxury brand. I am very cautious on how I'm moving forward to it. So when I did my exhibition, I participated in India's first luxury festival. In October, we were invited for Paris Fashion Week. So I'm among the very few brands from India, like only Tanishq, Birla, corporate brands go to Paris Fashion Week. I think I'm the only solopreneur entrepreneur who could make it there into precious jewelry. Was it easy? No. We were stuck in customs. I managed to pull through with my personal jewelry, but it was my own creation, so I could justify it. So life always give you opportunities and obstacles. It's your own path. Where you come from is a lot of thought process. It's your own mindset. It's the mindset which makes you or breaks you. Because if you're determined, backup plans are important, very important. Why? Because safety comes first. And when as a woman get thoughts or the overthinking or anxiety, it has come from the environment. The environment we want to escape, the circumstances which teach us to make our boundaries, set boundaries and clear limitations. We have to set, this is my standard, these are my boundaries, which we get learn or aware as we grow. So what next? Certainly we have a lot of plans with Akarshan. We are gonna grow it as the brand who talks not just about luxury, talks about the craftsmanship, talk about these beautiful gemstones which no one knows about. And why this knowledge is limited? It was not that we didn't have this knowledge in our culture. If you go to Shantipati Ashram, where Krishna was being taught, you see gemology was a very intricate part of our education system. They were हमारे भगवानों की jewelry देख लो आप. It was all ratn jadit. If you go back to the royalty, it was all gemstone which were being started with the jewelry. Jewelry was never a commodity. It was an art. It was a craftsman. It was a status. It was an opulence. There were a lot of details to it, and there was a lot of appreciation to that thing. It was something not for the bad days, but something to as a legacy. I understand we have to see all aspects of security in life, because financials is a very important aspect of any human. But is jewelry an investment? For me, could be yes, could be no, or maybe it could be a dual purpose. But what if you buy gold bonds? If you're really looking for security, buy the gold bars. But when you have that leisure in life where you are aspiring, you look first the finest things in life, and there comes high jewelry. And when you can appreciate somebody wearing a Bulgari, somebody wearing a Van Cleef Arpels, why not an Indian brand? And why not an Indian woman raising a brand? Why a woman can't do it? We are capable, right? We are working hard. We are putting as much efforts efforts into it any man would do. Only thing we are not very well aware upon how the society and the world operates, which we over the time evolve and explore. And that's where I come from, bringing Akarshan to the platform of luxury into the world's map. Thank you so much.